Oregon is suing the federal government over new Medicaid work requirement rules. The state says the changes would make it harder for medically vulnerable people, including those with serious illnesses or disabilities, to keep coverage even if they should be exempt. The new rules require able-bodied adults without young kids to work at least 80 hours a month or do community service, go to school, or take part in a work program. The lawsuit, joined by 23 other state attorneys general and 2 governors, asks a federal court to block the rules before they take effect.